Welcome to our free course on ChatGPT. In this course, you will learn about the cutting-edge technology of large language models and how they can be used to improve various industries and tasks. You will gain a deep understanding of ChatGPT's capabilities, including its ability to generate human-like text, answer questions, and complete tasks. Additionally, you will learn how to implement and fine-tune the model to suit your specific needs. Whether you're a developer, researcher, or simply curious about the latest AI advancements, this course is for you. And don't forget to subscribe our channel to stay updated with new content and insights on ChatGPT and other AI-related topics. Let's dive in and explore the world of ChatGPT together. This course offers a comprehensive introduction to the capabilities of ChatGPT and its applications in various industries. We will begin by discussing the background and architecture of the model, and then delve into the creation of personalized prompts and the generation of different types of emails using ChatGPT. We will also explore its potential for monetization, and cover its use in producing engaging content for YouTube videos, blog writing, social media articles, and copywriting. Additionally, we will delve into its applications in the medical field and personal development, language translation, poetry generation, and image creation. To fully benefit from the course, we encourage you to watch the complete video and not to skip any section. Join us as we unlock the full potential of this cutting-edge technology. ChatGPT Generative Pre-trained Transformer is a chatbot launched by OpenAI in November 2022. It is built on top of OpenAI's GPT-3 family of large language models, and is fine-tuned, an approach to transfer learning, with both supervised and reinforcement learning techniques. ChatGPT was launched as a prototype on November 30, 2022, and quickly garnered attention for its detailed responses and articulate answers across many domains of knowledge. Its uneven factual accuracy was identified as a significant drawback. Following the release of ChatGPT, OpenAI was reportedly valued at $29 billion. How is ChatGPT trained? ChatGPT was fine-tuned on top of GPT 3.5 using supervised learning as well as reinforcement learning. Both approaches used human trainers to improve the model's performance. In the case of supervised learning, the model was provided with conversations in which the trainers played both sides, the user and the AI assistant. In the reinforcement step, human trainers first ranked responses that the model had created in a previous conversation. These rankings were used to create reward models that the model was further fine-tuned on using several iterations of proximal policy optimization, PPO. Proximal policy optimization algorithms present a cost-effective benefit to trust region policy optimization algorithms. They negate many of the computationally expensive operations with faster performance. The models were trained in collaboration with Microsoft on their Azure supercomputing infrastructure. Features and limitations of ChatGPT. In addition, OpenAI continues to gather data from ChatGPT users that could be used to further train and fine-tune ChatGPT. Users are allowed to upvote or downvote the responses they receive from ChatGPT. Upon upvoting or downvoting, they can also fill out a text field with additional feedback. While the core function of a chatbot is to mimic a human conversationalist, journalists have also noted ChatGPT's versatility and improvisation skills, including its ability to write and debug computer programs, to compose music, teleplays, fairy tales, and student essays, to answer test questions, sometimes, depending on the test, at a level above the average human test taker, to write poetry and song lyrics, to emulate a Linux system, to simulate an entire chat room, to play games like Tic-Tac-Toe, and to simulate an ATM. ChatGPT's training data includes man pages and information about internet phenomena and programming languages, such as bulletin board systems and the Python programming language. In comparison to its predecessor, InstructGPT, ChatGPT attempts to reduce harmful and deceitful responses. In one example, while Instruct GPT accepts the premise of the prompt "Tell me about when Christopher Columbus came to the US in 2015" as being truthful, ChatGPT acknowledges the counterfactual nature of the question and frames its answer as a hypothetical consideration of what might happen if Columbus came to the US in 2015, using information about Columbus' voyages and facts about the modern world, including modern perceptions of Columbus' actions. Unlike most chatbots, ChatGPT remembers previous prompts given to it in the same conversation. Journalists have suggested that this will allow ChatGPT to be used as a personalized therapist. To prevent offensive outputs from being presented to and produced from ChatGPT, queries are filtered through OpenAI's company-wide moderation API, and potentially racist or sexist prompts are dismissed. ChatGPT suffers from multiple limitations. OpenAI acknowledged that ChatGPT sometimes writes plausible-sounding but incorrect or nonsensical answers. This behavior is common to large language models and is called hallucination. The reward model of ChatGPT, designed around human oversight, can be over-optimized and thus hinder performance, otherwise known as Goodhart's law. ChatGPT has limited knowledge of events that occurred after 2021. According to the BBC, as of December 2022, ChatGPT is not allowed to express political opinions or engage in political activism. Yet, research suggests that ChatGPT exhibits a pro-environmental, left-libertarian orientation when prompted to take a stance on political statements from two established voting advice applications. In training ChatGPT, human reviewers preferred longer answers, irrespective of actual comprehension or factual content. Training data also suffers from algorithmic bias, which may be revealed when ChatGPT responds to prompts including descriptors of people. In one instance, ChatGPT generated a rap indicating that women and scientists of color were inferior to white and male scientists.
You can sign up for a free ChatGPT account by going to openai.com. Now, at the time of this recording, they have a try link here, which when clicking on that, that will take you to chat.openai.com and then /auth/login. I'll link to this in the resources section down below. Once you have an account, you can click login, but to sign up for a free account, you're going to click on sign up. I'll link to this as well. And you will want to enter in your email address and also specify in the reCAPTCHA that you're not a robot. You may be challenged to identify a certain shape. Here I've got chimneys. I don't know if this is a chimney or not. This is always fun and challenging. I'll click verify. And I have confirmed that I'm not a robot, but I want to have a ChatGPT account so I can write text that is written by a robot, such as ChatGPT. But I digress. Let's continue. And so now I can set my password that I want, and then once you've set your password, click continue. I'll go ahead and save this to my browser. And the next step is to verify your email. You'll receive an email from OpenAI to confirm your email address for your free ChatGPT account. And here's what that email looks like. Click here to verify your email address. And once you've verified your email, you can enter in your information, first name and last name, and then click continue. And then you can put in your phone number to send a code to then verify, and then you'll receive a code on your phone and enter in that code that they send you. And one thing you'll notice whenever you first get logged in to ChatGPT is that oftentimes there's warnings about there being exceptionally high demand or they're at capacity. So in the next lesson, we'll get oriented with the interface. We'll start working through some examples of using ChatGPT in order to start becoming more familiar with this amazing tool. We're logged into our ChatGPT account. I'm going to dismiss the warning here at the top to be able to clear the screen here. On the main page at the time of this recording, there's 3 different sections here as far as examples of things that you could enter in. Also notes around the capabilities of ChatGPT as well as limitations. Some things to note around limitations would be that there's limited knowledge inside of ChatGPT for any events that occurred after 2021. So this is not the best tool for current event or feedback on that. As well, be warned that it may occasionally generate incorrect information and as well may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. So the idea behind this tool is that with any sort of machine learning, it's always trying to improve based on feedback, based on usage as well. And noted here as well that it's optimized for dialogue. And the goal is to make AI systems more natural to interact with. And as well, your feedback will help us improve our systems and make them safer. So if you ever do generate any incorrect information, you can always give them feedback on that as well. Now you can pre-populate inside of this thread. This is a new and clear thread here, by the way, and you can always start a new thread by clicking here. But you can click on one of these examples to fill this in, such as explain quantum computing in simple terms, and click the send button here or hit enter. It takes a moment for it to generate and think about it, and then eventually it'll write out the information here related to quantum computing in this example. And you'll notice as it's typing as well that this is quite conversational in nature. It appears as if it was typed up by an actual human. And then as well, you can give feedback if you feel that this is a good answer, or if not, you can downvote that as well. And OpenAI takes that information to help improve its learning model here as well. And so we can always click new thread to go back to the home screen here, and you can try out some of these other examples, such as getting creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday. And this will give you some ideas then. Sometimes these are numbered lists as well, giving you examples of doing a scavenger hunt or planning a movie night, for example, as well as say a popcorn and candy station, planning a trip to a local amusement park. And so one thing you'll find with ChatGPT is that it is good at generating lists of ideas for you as well. So you may want to ask it questions related to ideas for not only a 10-year-old birthday party, but business ideas, course ideas, what you should learn next, how to advance your career. The possibilities are endless. And here we've got at least a list of 10 items as far as for a 10-year-old birthday party here. Now we can always click new thread to go back. And the final example, how do I make an HTTP request in JavaScript? You could send that and see some examples there. ChatGPT can actually write computer code, and this is giving you an idea of how to do some code here with a fetch function related to an HTTP request in JavaScript. And it gives you not only the code that you can copy, but further details on what it's doing as well. So you can use ChatGPT to learn how to code as well. And this is still going. There's quite a bit of information here in this example. You can change over to dark mode. This is just a user interface change here to where it changes the light color to dark if you prefer that. And so once again, you can always upvote or downvote these to provide feedback if you're wanting to provide further information. I'm going to go ahead and click out of there to avoid doing that. But also you can copy code to your clipboard if you're needing to paste that inside of a text editor, for example. If you're wanting to actually do some coding, you could always copy and paste this. And you can go back to light mode by clicking here. Now, a few other links along the left here. You can go to the OpenAI Discord. This is a community around OpenAI and ChatGPT. There's currently close to 600,000 members, and you can accept the invite here to join the Discord. In order to participate in the Discord, you'll need to complete a few steps. Back in the user interface here, you can ask follow-up questions. So for example, if you're not sure the difference between a post and a put with HTTP methods, you could ask what is the difference between a post and a put for HTTP methods and send that, and then it'll churn and think about it here, and then eventually it'll provide an answer. When it boils it down, it's saying that post is used to submit data to be processed, while put is used to update an existing resource on the server, and gives you further details as well. So you can take this further down the road and ask follow-up questions. It's meant to be conversational in nature, and it remembers past conversation in a thread as well, that we can go deeper and deeper into a topic and get further information. And so you may read further and see, for example, in this particular paragraph, you may be unfamiliar with the word even. It's saying that it, however, put has the advantage of being idempotent. And so I'm going to copy that and ask them, what does that word mean? I'm saying, please define idempotent. And so here in computing, an operation is said to be idempotent if multiple identical requests have the same effect as a single request. This means that no matter how many times the operation is performed, the result will always be the same. We briefly looked at the Discord community for OpenAI and ChatGPT. I want to take you through the process of completing verification. So if you want to follow along and do likewise, you can join this community as well and get some helpful tips and starting points and read up on what others are doing on ChatGPT as well. So I'm going to click on complete here at the top, and you need to read through the rules and agree to the rules that you'll adhere to the Discord and OpenAI's terms and policies. This is as well an English only server, and there's a lot of other information around keeping the content G-rated, stay on topic, no spamming, etc., etc. Leave it to you to follow the links to read all of this. Once you have read and agree to the rules, you can click the checkbox, click submit. You are then able to click verify under verification required. And here I've got to type in the CAPTCHA below to be able to access this server. It's ironic how we spend more and more time and effort proving that we're not a machine so that we can learn how to use a machine. Clicking submit, I've passed the verification successfully, and so now I can access OpenAI on the Discord server. And here you've got different sections around welcome and announcements, as well as new releases. And I'm going to go to the ChatGPT discussions, and you can see the latest discussions going on here related to ChatGPT, people's feedback and thoughts, perhaps some things that they've tried. Here's some examples of some things that people have done. And here's just one example from someone named Syndicate. I actually can hear the beat explain Terraform in rap style, and gives you a screenshot of ChatGPT explaining Terraform in the style of rap, and it's giving you a lot of rhymes here, so you could always create lyrics as well. So we'll be looking at, throughout the duration of this course, approaches to doing things such as song lyrics, marketing copy, how you can create stories, copywriting, and more around persons, places, and things. You'll also find examples here in the Discord of some things that it struggles with. Here's someone saying, is it me or the AI getting dumb? When I was 6, my brother is half my age. Now I'm 30. How old is my brother? And the answer didn't quite get what the Croxus was after here, for example. So you can connect with others as well inside of the Discord here. You can also look at suggestions and bugs and a lot more. I'll leave it to you to explore the Discord further and get familiar with that. I want to get back into ChatGPT, start a new thread, and I'll see you in the next section where we start to explore content around people.
All right, in this chapter, we're going to be talking about ChatGPT prompts. The objectives here are, number one, to understand how to prompt ChatGPT to get information, how various phrases might affect what information we receive, how to set conditions for how ChatGPT should answer, and how to set conditions that will stay for the duration of the conversation. Let's dive in. All right, so this is ChatGPT. We're going to be putting in some prompts in here and then hitting enter or clicking this button and seeing what kind of information and what kind of answers it provides back. So let's start with a simple one. What is AI? We're going to put that in there and let's see what it says. So it basically explains what artificial intelligence is and gives us a very basic overview, enough for us to sort of understand what that thing is. Now, let's compare that to what happens if we say explain AI. It's a little bit different, but this should give us a sort of different level of answer. In general, when you say what is, that's going to be a short answer, whereas if you're saying explain, that's in general going to be a little bit longer and a little bit more involved. You can also say how long or how short the explanation should be. You can say explain AI in just a few words or something like that. If you wanted to simplify it to a level where a child might understand it, you might say something along the lines of explain AI to me like I was 5 years old. So as you can see here, the speech really changes. It's saying, well, it's like a really smart computer that can do things on its own. It's very simple and going to be easy to understand for anyone that uses it. Now we can add other modifications that will deliver those lines in a different way. So for example, I can say something like this. So I'll say, explain AI to me like you were a cowboy in an old Western. And it goes, sure thing, partner. And now it's explaining to you, but it's using words like trusty horse and various other things that a cowboy from an old Western might say. And you can use pretty much anything in place of a cowboy in an old Western. You can say like a surfer. You can say from the perspective of a dog, for example. You can increase the complexity of which it explains it. You can say, explain AI to me as if you were the foremost expert in the world on AI. At which point it's going to start explaining it without sort of any limitations on how advanced it's going to get. Now, this is going to be important later on. While, you know, the whole cowboy in an old Western is a little bit of a silly example, there will be a lot of applications as you'll see later, where this is very, very important. For example, if you're creating a chatbot that's helping customers on the website, or for example, you're creating a tutor for kids, setting it to be some persona or telling it some specific way of thinking, it's going to be very useful, and it will stay in that persona for the entirety of the conversation. So for example, if you're creating some sort of an app for kids, you want it staying in that sort of playful, nice, and easy to understand mode. Next, we can ask it to, for example, create a shopping list for us. Let's say we wanted to start a diet. All right, so basically any information that you want that you would type into Google, you can type in here and it will retrieve it. The important thing is right now it's not connected to the internet, so you can, for example, ask it for anything that's time sensitive. You can ask it what time it is right now or what the weather is like, for example. But most other things you can ask for. You can ask for information about old authors, about various scientific principles, anything you can think of on Wikipedia, and many, many other things. Let's ask it right now for some health advice, health and diet advice. We're going to ask, how many calories should a 22-year-old fairly athletic man eat to maintain his weight? So as you can see here, it says, while there's a lot of different factors that might affect this, it's giving us sort of the calculations that it will use to understand what the caloric needs are. So it's taking in our total daily energy expenditure and our basal metabolic rate, and based on the inputs that we gave it, it returns sort of a rough estimate. But as you can see here, it's saying, you know, it's assuming height and it's assuming a certain weight. So this is the amount of calories that it returned to us. Now this is where we can actually go in and ask to change those amounts. Now it remembers the conversation that we have, so you don't have to say all that all over again. You can sort of reply to this question and say, "Oh, so I wrote recalculate, but if I have 6 feet tall and weigh 200 pounds, I meant if I am 6 feet tall and weigh 200 pounds. But it understood what I meant because it's a very smart bot, and it's gonna recalculate all those things and provide me with the new updated caloric needs for me to maintain my weight. Or, well, not me, but this 22-year-old person. So as you can see here, it's giving us the calories. You know, if we wanted to change what our activity factor is, we can change that as well. If we were, for example, sedentary or maybe lightly active. So with that in mind, let's ask it for a daily meal plan that meets those calories. And we're also going to say that we want it to be high protein. So please provide a high protein daily meal plan that provides those calories. So, and it's giving us sort of a example daily meal plan that provides around 3,200 calories, which is the calculation that it did earlier. So it's giving us a breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and an evening snack. So this is great, but let's see if we can break it down by macronutrients to see how many carbs and fats and proteins were there exactly. So I said, please redo that and include macronutrients for each meal. Let's see what it does. So as you can see here, it did that. Now, something about the way I phrased it, it only did the protein calculation and nothing else. So, and sometimes that will happen as this system is learning. Sometimes a certain way of asking might not return the full information. That's why it's important to double check everything. But let's try this. So I'm going to say, please redo that, but list all the macronutrients in each meal, including protein, fat, and carbs. Let's see if that does it. Okay, there it goes. So it's breaking down every single meal that are recommended. It's giving us the calories, the protein grams, the fat grams, and the carbs. All right, so that's pretty good. Now let's try to use that and create a shopping list so that we can go to a store and get all these things to start eating. Okay, so I asked, please use that meal plan to create a shopping list for this week. And it basically lists every single thing that it included in that meal plan. So that's an example of how you can use various prompts that return information and then also build on top of each other. So for example, first we determine our caloric needs. Based on that, we create the meal plan. Then based on that, we do the calculation of our macronutrients. And then finally, at the very end, we say, okay, what is the actual meal plan that the shopping plan that we need? And at the end, we say, what is the shopping list that we need to get to start doing this meal plan? So those are the very basics of what you should know to start interacting with this AI. This is where the road really opens up because there's a lot of different applications for this, but this is the basic sort of understanding of where to get started. In the next lessons, you will see how to use these prompts to generate whatever information or code or whatever content that you can imagine.
So I just asked ChatGPT what industries ChatGPT could affect. And there's a huge list here. You can pause the video if you want, or just ask it yourself. But if you start to think about this and compare to your own knowledge or whatever it is that you do in your life, the point of this class and what I've been basically obsessively thinking about is how can we leverage this into the things that we do to get a little bit of an increased output. And I've already been using it in a number of ways that I've seen a massive result. And so that's hopefully I can share with you guys in some of these upcoming examples here. But I just want to get you guys thinking about a few questions. AI is going to affect every industry. The world is going to be completely different in 5 years or less. It's already changing right now today, January 1st. What do I do as a person? So I think asking yourself these questions is useful as a useful thought examination. What do I currently use writing for in my job? If you have a job or you're a student or a teacher, what am I using writing for? What do I use search for in my job? Am I paid for any kind of data processing, spreadsheets, accounting, coding, etc.? Any kind of data. Even if you're doing YouTube and you're coming up with YouTube content, maybe you're a YouTuber and you're trying to come up with better words. And if you're playing the YouTube game, you know that actually putting SEO in your YouTube titles is helpful. So that's one example. Am I writing with the best words I could be using for that content? Can I use ChatGPT to save hours in my personal life, not just professional? House tasks, personal relationships, DIY, do-it-yourself projects. Are there things that maybe you want to build something out of 3 materials that you have? Ask ChatGPT, can I build something with this, this, and this? Or where on this specific motherboard can I find this if you're building a computer? There are many things that we can start to think about that are context specific that would be difficult to find on Google, because as the results will give you something with advertising, or you have to go to YouTube video, especially if it's context specific. And I'll get a little bit more into that later in the class. But that's a key difference is the context, is your specific example, not a generic, how do I build a computer isn't going to answer your computer problem if you have a very specific device you're working with. And sometimes it's hard to find that perfect example. So are there books that I want to read, but maybe I could get the main points faster? Can I summarize that information? Can I save myself time and not have to, most books have a lot of filler information. A lot of people are into speed reading and stuff like that. So if you're one of those people that like to gather information quickly and, try to highlight the main points, this could be very useful. Could I use this newfound skill to consult with businesses who don't know about it yet? Or can I sell the time arbitrage that this tool saves at the same price to other companies that really aren't affluent in this kind of technology yet? So there's an opportunity to make more income in less time based on using this tool. And so those are all questions that I think are really relevant right now, and they aren't going to be relevant forever. I think that there is a time bomb, kind of on this, but that's why keeping ahead of it and learning the technology as it continues, especially this year in 2023, is going to be vital. And I'm going to show you guys the best place to find and follow this information from the experts themselves, not just some news website and stuff like that, some sensational stuff. So that's all things to ask yourself and think about. So ChatGPT, if we compare the input, you already notice that the input is different. When you look back, we had just a Google search, so we could only put in something we're searching for. ChatGPT is not exactly the same. We can do a search. You see, we still have search. But we can also put in a pre-existing writing. We can also put in pre-existing code. And we can also put in what I would call a creative discovery search. So it's kind of taking the parameters or the words you use, and it can do things with that result. So it's not necessarily a search, but what it's actually doing is producing something from the words you give it. So if you give it 3 words, snowman, carrot, and rocks, and you say, do something with these 3 words, write a story with these 3 words, it'll create something brand new. So that's not the same thing as a search that's trying to return a link that's on the internet. It's actually creating something from scratch using the knowledge that it has. So if we look at a basic example, this is what a basic search would be, but there are some differences compared to a Google search. So here we're putting in a search. Give me 10 movie titles that are similar to Good Will Hunting. And so the output of that ChatGPT gave us is these movies here, Dead Poet Society, Beautiful Mind, different movies like that. And the difference is now to point out, ChatGPT has short-term memory. It can remember the conversation you had. So it's like talking to a person. So if you say, well, what is the plot of number 3? And if we look at number 3, it's Rain Man. So it's going to remember, it's remembering the context of the conversation like a human would. and it can expand on this information that it gave us. So actually what it's doing is unpacking this data for more information, which is really, really interesting if you think about it, because it's presenting us with an initial information, but we can expand that data. And it really you want to think of this text as data. You can expand it, or you can compress it. So you could actually summarize information. So this is kind of what it gave us in the second prompt here. What is the plot? It gave us all this information. But we could actually summarize. We could take this text and we could say, can you summarize the text you just gave me into something a little bit shorter? Or can you be a little bit more descriptive in the plot? Or can you give us a longer version of that text? So we can manipulate the output that it gives us, and we can interact with it just like as you would with a human. So this is why people say ChatGPT has some sort of level of intelligence, and it's actually passed the bar exam. So it's actually fairly intelligent in the comprehension and responses it can give. And so I like to think of this as not just a search engine, but an assistant. Think of it as a person basically, and interact with it in that way, and you're going to get the best results. So here we have another example of ChatGPT, but we're not using a search this time. So you remember I said we can use different types of initial data input into it. So here we have a writing that already exists. So this is from Wikipedia. And I said, rewrite this so a 5-year-old can understand it. And I pasted in this text here. So before I continue here, it's basically just this. We have our window here. Rewrite this so a 5-year-old can understand it. And I put semicolon and basically go to this Wikipedia page, copy this, and just paste it in. So it's going to understand, even though the formatting is not perfect and all that. If I just press that, it's going to basically do what we're asking. So it's intelligent. It's going to kind of understand what you're trying to explain with natural language. So what's interesting about this is we have this simplified version, and it did a pretty good job. It's nuclear fusion is a way to make energy by combining two types of atoms together. Happens in stars, and it can make a lot of energy. So the language is not too complex. It does have the elements in here still, so hydrogen, helium, stuff like that. If we didn't want to include those things and we assume that the reader, maybe doesn't understand those concepts yet, we could say, hey, can we make it a little bit simpler, and can we exclude these type of words? So again, remember that we can iterate on the output. We can make it longer, shorter, more creative, more formal. Those are the kind of things you can do. And when we get into emails and marketing and stuff like that, those are pretty useful things to remember. So these are just some general broad concepts, but it's important to know that this is not just your result and you're done. So just remember that. And this is a good example, though, of compression or decompression, meaning we can simplify or expand. And that's something to keep in mind.
Code generation. So I was thinking about, I think let's see if we can make ChatGPT give us a algorithm to generate a very simple rock, paper, scissors game. So rock, paper, scissors. Let's see what it does with that. That's really not a whole lot of information. Typically, you'd want to give it a little bit more. But let's see if it can make that work. Okay. Choices, player one, input. Okay. So as you can see, it's generating us some code for 2 people to play rock, paper, scissors. That's pretty cool, but I think what we're looking for here is something that will allow the user to play rock, paper, scissors against the computer. So let's ask it for that instead. And I'm going to specify that we want to take input from the user. I'm going to specify a few more details here and see what we can do. scissors against the computer. I'm going to say have the function prompt the user for an input, randomly generate a response, and let them know if they won or lost. See what we get there. Okay. All right. Okay, it's writing this stuff pretty fast, but I think let's post this into REPL and see what it does. I haven't even looked at this code. I'm just going to throw it in here and see what we get. Oh. Oh. So this is actually generated as a Python algorithm. I'm going to ask it for JavaScript instead. I honestly get a little lazy with how easy this makes everything. Generate the function in JavaScript. Okay. Looking pretty good. Obviously, this isn't normally how you'd want to do this. You'd obviously want to be a lot more specific with what you're asking. I'm really just trying to showcase kind of how powerful this tool really is, and just how much knowledge it really has just by being able to source information from the internet. It knows what rock paper scissors is. It knows different coding languages. Okay. So we got the function in there. We're going to have to call the function. Okay, please enter your choice. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock. Computer wins. Okay. So I think one more thing I'm going to have it do. So that worked pretty well. I'm going to actually have it at, I'm going to want it to tell me what the computer chose. So let's just say edit this function so that the user knows what choice the computer made after the game is over. Okay. It's going to rewrite the whole thing for us. Wow, this is really so cool. Now, after the game is over, the function will log the result of the game. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to REPL. Replace this function with the new one that we just had generated. And run it. Okay. You win. The computer chose scissors. Okay, perfect. So that's pretty much it. I think this is a good example to just show how powerful the tool is, really, how much knowledge it has and how little you do have to do. Obviously, if you're building, a project that you're going to have more specific needs and you're going to want to articulate, um, in a more clear and precise way what you're wanting ChatGPT to do for you. But I think this is a good example just to kind of get your imagination flowing about what this could accomplish for you on a project that you're working on. So next, I think we're going to go into a little bit about how ChatGPT can help, with developing algorithms for you to solve more complex problems.
So as you can see with that NDA, it did generate a usable contract within just a few minutes. And let's just jump in and look at another example. Let's say you're a developer or a coder and you're having a problem with actually a piece of code. So we're going to look at this jQuery code that I've loaded in here. And let's say you have that issue and you can't figure out, you're trying to debug it. You can send that in to it and it will give you the correction. And this is a very common mistake in jQuery codes. And not only does it tell you where the problem is, it actually gives you the corrected code and script. And you can also just go to this one thing and say copy code. It copies it, and you can then post it directly into your application as well, and it will then fix it.
Emails. Three major types. One, typical like back and forth conversational emails between you and your coworkers. Two, creating email campaigns that you will then send out to prospective clients. And three, writing personalized emails to clients, either updating them on the status of a job or writing personalized sales outreach to clients to hope to bring them on as customers. And so, really quickly, I'm going to show you how to do those three things very, very fast. Okay, so I have a friend who just had the birth of his son. Very exciting. And let's say I want to write me a personal, fun, friendly email congratulating fun. I like the word funny. Funny is great. Congratulating my coworker on the birth of his son, Gabe. Tell him that he's going to have to bring him in the office soon. Hey there, Gus. I just want to send you a quick note to congratulate you on the arrival of your son, Gabe. I can't believe it's already been a week since he made his grand entrance into the world. Time sure flies. I'm sure you and your family are busy adjusting to life with a newborn, but I just wanted to let you know that we're all thinking of you here at the office, and I have to say we're all really excited to meet little Gabe and see how he's grown since the last time we saw him, which was, in your wife's belly. So when you're ready, be sure to bring him by the office for a visit. I'm sure he'll be the cutest little guy we've ever seen. Take care and congratulations on your new addition. That's so sweet. That is so good. It would take me a while to write this. I will send this over to him. Okay. The next one is a little piece of sales copy. So I could say, write me an initial email for a meal prep kitchen that is offering a 30% off New Year's sale for first-time clients. Meals are typically $100 for 10, but they are only 70 through the end of the year. Mention that they are in limited supply and to act fast. Hi there. I'm going to reach out to you to let you know about our special New Year's sale we're having currently running at Meal Prep, blah, blah, blah. If you're a first time client, you can get 30% off your first order of meals. That means you can get 10 delicious meals, 10 delicious healthy meals for only $70, normally $100. This offer is only available for a limited time, so be sure to act fast if you want to take advantage. Just use this promo code at checkout. We hope to be a part of your healthy eating journey in the coming year. Best Meal Prep Kitchen. If you had information, like you could input their current website to give this a little more accurate brand voice to what specifically this brand does. But I don't think this is bad, and I think this is definitely something that could start an email campaign. Now, the last one is personalized emails, and typically these take the longest because you're kind of swinging for the fences with these ones. You know, it's like here's a client. So on LinkedIn, I noticed this man posted that he needs an SEO expert recommendation. They've been using another agency. They didn't get good results. So we were looking for recommendations for awesome SEO experts that can help us take our site and business to the next level. And so you could say something like, yeah, okay, I already typed this out. I could say respond to this message, and then you copy it, you paste it right here. Let's just do this. New chat. All right. Real quick. Come on, SEO. Come on. All right. Respond to this message. Over here, copy and paste this. Respond to this message. To this LinkedIn post. Say that I am with a SEO agency called ChatGPT. We're sorry to hear he's been having problems, but we think we can get these solved for him. I'd love to set up a time next Wednesday for an initial conversation. So respond to this LinkedIn post, copy and paste it, and then just give some background. Hey, we're sorry to hear that you've been having a negative experience with the agency that he mentioned. It's important to have a good relationship with your SEO agency and see results for your investment at ChatGPT. That's okay. We believe we can help you take your site and business to the next level. We'd love to set up time to have an initial conversation with you and see if we might be a good fit for your needs. How does next Wednesday at a convenient time for you sound? Let me know and we can get something set up. Now, I could have said, I want to speak with him Wednesday at 1, and it would have said that. Of course, if I was sending this to a client, I would offer a specific time. But overall, like this is a pretty good LinkedIn email, and a lot of good SEO conversations begin this way. And so that's 3 ways that you can use this technology really quickly for really powerful results through email and direct messaging.
Let's just try something on, like something cool, right? What are the best cities to run a startup? An example, right? Let's see how intelligent this is. Click enter, and there we go. So think about this. All this information that comes directly in a snap of a finger, what you can do with that. Let's ask it again. Can you make this longer? As you can see, something so simple, you ask your correct prompts, it gives you the information that you require almost immediately. So what this helps for online entrepreneurs or online side hustlers or freelancers is that it can help you to create a lot of source of income so much more easily. Okay, one of them is actually going into Fiverr. As you can see here, article writing. These are some of the article writings that people are selling. And I suppose that those who are jumping on the ChatGPT bandwagon would likely be able to perform or write something so much more faster. Example would be like this, about 190 orders from here, or around 1,000 orders from here for only $30. You can write all sorts of things that you want. Or even, for example, can a reset thread here? Write me a product description for the Moss Flask. There you go. Can start using this immediately and selling it on Fiverr. But maybe that's not your cup of tea. Maybe you wanted to do something more. You wanted to create your own websites. You want to create your own affiliate marketing business, which will help you in the long term, in the long run. Say, for example, right now we are talking about how you can use ChatGPT to make money for you. Let's just try this out immediately. How do I make money online with an AI writer? There we go. That's it, guys. Take a look at that. It's basically giving us an idea. As we can see here, is that you can use it to write unique content for your own website or blog, monetize the website with advertising and sponsored content. You are using AI writer to create content for other websites or businesses, as what I mentioned, like Fiverr, be a freelancer, or including making a marketing agency. You don't need me to tell you. ChatGPT is able to tell you all this. And these are all typically, in my opinion, still very surface level. But it does save you a lot of time. And now it's your turn to actually expand more on that. But if you would like them to come up something way more, you can put, can you expand on this? Let's go. Just like that, guys. This is so awesome. ChatGPT is really changing the entire landscape, and I believe that it will help you so much more as well. So, as you can see, all this information has been written out by ChatGPT. What you can do is you can copy this information and put it in to your blog. So, example, this is something that I'm writing it on my own blog because I kind of really like this a lot. I'm not editing this yet, but I do suppose that it would be great that you do some editing. You can change it, you can rephrase it, writing it for yourself into your own context. So there we go. This is my own website, my own blog, which I have copied what ChatGPT has written here. I've made some minimal edits. I'm going to edit more about that later on. And this is how it can look like. And what you can do right here is that you can put your affiliate links around here to basically make your own online business easily as copy and pasting. And of course, definitely you have to fact check, you have to make some changes, make it more relevant to your target audience, to your market. But this is a game changer, guys, especially for business people who are in Asia, like myself, where some of them may be poor in the English language, but they want to tap into the English market. And this is one of the best way that you can do. It's really a game changer, guys. And if you're not using this for your own business, for your own self, just think about how many time you can save if you are using this tool itself. So yes, this is how you can make money with ChatGPT, guys.
So how you can say ChatGPT that what are the some best niches for YouTube? Let me just quickly ask the AI and then I will show you the best and the proven to work method. Just type here, give me some best YouTube niches ideas. But that's not the correct way. I will show you that what is the best method. Okay, so as you can see that it is giving us a gaming niche, a dye and home improvement niche, a food cooking, that's a good niche as well. But as you can see that most of the niches that it is recommending us is not a faceless niches. But in order to automate our channel, we need to work on some faceless niches. And now let me just go to the best method to find the niches. Just ask, give me some popular faceless YouTube niches ideas. And now it will start giving us some of the faceless YouTube niches that people are working on, and those are popular in the market at the time. So as you can see that the first one is animation and graphic design. If you have a talent for creating animation and graphic design, you can create a YouTube channel, focus on these skills. So this is the first one. The second one is audio content. If you enjoy creating content, audio content such as podcasts or audio dramas, so you can work on that niche as well. The third one is gaming, then product reviews, music and sound effect, writing, literature. So now you can see that you are getting broader ideas of what niche sounds good to you. And then we need to go into sub niches of these some of the broad niches. So why we need to go into the sub niches? That's the important question, because you can see that with the passage of time there is a lot of channels that are being built on YouTube and the competition is skyrocketing. So we need to deep dive into some sub niches that have low competition and there is a big potential ahead. So these are some of the broad niche, and now we need to ask the AI to give us something sub niches within these broad niches. Like let's say, let me just check which one of these is good for my perspective. As you can see that I have recently started this channel on how to kind of videos, like how to fix social media problems and something like that, and I'm already getting some good results. In 1.5 month, in the last 28 days I got 11,000 views with a $10.89 revenue. But you would say that that's not great. Obviously that's not great, but at the moment these are long lasting videos and it will work for like 10 to 15 years, and these videos will give me profit for 10 to 15 continuous years. So If you see it in a broader perspective, you would say that's a grad, and it's kind of steady. It's not like those other channels that goes like this and then move here and move to the zero end point. You can see that it's kind of stable. So this is a great niche. The F one is gardening, then you can go with craft and hobbies, pet care. You can ask the AI and it will give you some of the good niches. So to summarize this lecture, first you need to ask the AI to give some, like you can ask the AI to give me 20 faceless YouTube channel ideas, and it will give you 20 YouTube channel ideas. Then you can just go through all those and find which one fascinates you and what kind of videos you can make on these niches. Then you need to go into sub niche of that specific broad niche, and then you need to finalize. So that was the first part of this lecture, where we used ChatGPT to find some of the good niches. In the next lecture, I will share you with a Excel sheet that you can go through and find some of the best YouTube channel niches that are not very much competitive and are easy to grow in that niche. So see you in the next lecture.
Another really cool thing about ChatGPT is the way that it is able to take on very particular voice in its writing. It can write different passages in different styles where it's not just the regurgitation of the facts, the way it's worded, it's really speaking either as a particular persona or it's speaking to a particular persona. So before I dive into like the utility that this could have in business cases, especially for the formulation of scripts or for blogging, I just thought we could have a little fun with it because you can go to ChatGPT and say, write about apples in the style of Kim Kardashian. And I'm going to say, write 50 words about apples. Hey everyone, it's Kim K here. Just wanted to share my love for apples. They are the perfect snack for on the go and come in so many delicious varieties. I always keep a few in my bag for a quick, healthy pick me up. Plus, they're great for your skin and hair. Give them a try and let me know what you think. XOXO. You can also say, write about apples in the style of Donald Trump. And you'll see the difference. Let me tell you, folks, apples are the best. They're tremendous. The best. I've always loved apples. Always have, always will. And let me tell you, nobody grows better apples than we do. They're huge, they're beautiful, they're red, they're delicious. And let me tell you, they're good for you too. They're very good for you. They're tremendous. Believe me. Trust me. Just try an apple, folks. You won't be disappointed. They're the best, believe me. Short, clippy sentences, lots of simple adjectives. It is really in the style of how Donald Trump talks. I think this is hilarious. I've had so much fun playing with this, and I really think that there is a utility for creating a open API app that speaks in the tonality of different celebrities. But for the type of work that we do at the GPT agency, we're not writing SNL skits. You know, we're not going to write a bit about apples in the style of Donald Trump or Kim Kardashian or Joe Rogan or anyone. But what we might do is we might write a script for a particular YouTube persona that they can take and make content with for their fans. So you could say, it's not just individual celebrities that it can write the voice for, it can write voices for different personas. So I could say, write me a 500 word script for a YouTube vlog aimed at millennial women ages 20 to 45. Write this in the style of a fun-loving young mother and write me a recipe vlog on how to make grandma's caramel, what are they called? Cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls. And say that these are always a favorite for my kids and are great for family bonding or days at the park. Write this in the style of a fun-loving young mother named Victoria, and write me a recipe vlog on how to make grandmother's caramel cinnamon rolls. And say that these are always a favorite for my kids and are great for family bonding or days at the park. And so in this YouTube style, hey everyone, it's Victoria here. I'm excited to share my favorite recipe with you all today. These caramel cinnamon rolls are always a hit with my kids and are perfect for family bonding or a fun day at the park. They're my grandma's recipe and have been passed down for generations in my family. First, let's gather our ingredients. 2 cups warm milk, 1 cup white sugar, 1 cup melted butter, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon salt, 8 cups all-purpose flour, 2.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast. For the filling, 1 cup brown sugar, 2 tablespoons ground cinnamon, 1 cup melted butter. For the caramel sauce, 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup heavy whipping cream, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Now let's get started. And it goes through the entire life cycle of how to make this original recipe. Recipes are copyrighted and trademarked, and so if you are making food content for YouTube, you can't just rip off a Food Network recipe, you have to alter it. This is a very simple original recipe that honestly I'd love to see someone in the Discord make. I'd love to know how this turned out. But it goes through, it gives you step-by-step directions that could just be articulated by the user and used to create some great YouTube content. I'm going to say, just to play around with it, I really like this. Make the intro 200 words longer and make it funnier. The rest of the video can stay the same. Because I do think it jumped a little quickly. Hey everyone, it's Victoria here, and boy, do I have a treat for you today. I'm excited to share my all-time favorite recipe with you. My grandma's famous caramel cinnamon rolls. These babies are always a hit with my kids and make for the perfect activity for family bonding or a fun day at the park. I mean, who doesn't love a good cinnamon roll? Am I right? But before we get started, let me say that I am no expert in baker. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have a sixth sense for ruining any and all baked good. My copies are either burnt to a crisp or raw in the middle. My cakes are always lopsided and my bread, well, let's say I stick to the store-bought. Oh, but let's just say I stick to the store-bought stuff. But these caramel cinnamon rolls, oh man, they are saving grace in the kitchen. They're so easy to make and always turn out perfect. I'm talking gooey, caramelly goodness in every bite. And the best part is they make your house smell absolutely divine. I mean, who wouldn't want their home to smell like a warm, cozy bakery? Yeah, so for a second, I thought it was like kind of like getting off topic with this. But I think this is great. It introduces the character of the vlogger, gives a reference about how people like it. It has lots of good brand voice. And then it says, hey, I'm a bad baker, but these caramel cinnamon rolls, man, they are wonderful. Goes through the recipe. Now let's get started on these tasty treats. Sometimes if you ask it to do a lot, or if you're asked, oh, so Now let's get started on these tasty treats. And then you would just repeat everything it's already done. A lot of times it won't repeat redundant information. Um, and so pretty quickly, you could either make this content yourself or you could hand this to a vlogger, a step-by-step direction on how they can make a video that will produce traffic for their YouTube channel, vlog, course, or program. Uh, this is amazing. Its use of brand voice is really phenomenal. Now, let's say we wanted the same recipe. Write me a vlog about caramel cinnamon rolls aimed at poor college students in living in their first apartment. Write it aimed at young men, specifically frat brothers, ages 18 to 22. The narrator is named Chaz, and he loves 3 things. Give me a vlog about caramel cinnamon rolls. Let's say with step-by-step directions. Okay. He loves 3 things: shotgun and beers, sorority girls, and making his grandma's caramel cinnamon rolls for all his frat brothers. And it will very quickly change the tone, change the voice, change the wording. And I'm just going to start doing this. Hey there, it's Chaz. And let me tell you, I got a recipe that's going to blow your mind. It's my grandma's famous caramel cinnamon rolls, and they're the perfect treat for me and all my frat brothers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chaz, I'm a poor college student living in my first apartment. How am I supposed to make these fancy pastries? But don't worry, my friends, because these rolls are super easy to make and won't break the bank. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not exactly a master chef in the kitchen. I usually stick to microwavable ramen and natty light. But these caramel cinnamon rolls, they're my jam. And let me tell you, they're always a hit with the ladies too. I mean, who doesn't love a man who can cook? Bonus points if you can shotgun a beer while you're at it. So without further ado, let's gather our ingredients. Ingredients goes through the same thing. Like, this is amazing. There's a lot of these fitness blogs that have like this very particular kind of bro-ish frat voice, and there's a lot of these mommy vlogs that have like kind of a sweeter familial voice. Goes through essentially the same recipe, and the outro it writes is, I hope you all give this recipe a try. It's always a hit with my frat brothers, and the ladies can't get enough of them. And the best part is they're super easy to make and won't break the bank. Give them a try and let me know what you think. So you can write this. The possibilities are endless. You could say, write this aimed at PhD students, write this in kind of more professorial voice, write this aimed at children. There's so much child content on YouTube that makes so much money. And so by utilizing different brand voices and just playing around with it, you can really create remarkable content that people are attracted to. And if you're on the marketing side, the agency side, you can really create a product that people want.
For this section, we're going to use ChatGPT to help curate our business ideas. I know when I first started out with ChatGPT, this is one of the main opportunities I was asking it about. And it let me know that AI and technology was one of the major opportunities out there. So I decided to pursue it with some of my consulting and other different business opportunities But again, this is one of the main ways you can use ChatGPT to also bounce your ideas off of ChatGPT. Let's say you have a business idea that you plan to start. You can ask ChatGPT, is this a good opportunity? Does it have room to grow? How should I go about doing it? And it will give you a step-by-step guide on how you should do it. So in this example, what I did, I asked ChatGPT, what are some growing industries that are set to expand? Now, if you're going to start a business, you want to start a business that has upwards trajectory. You don't want to start a horseback mail carriage business when planes and cars first came out. You get what I'm saying? So, in this example, ChatGPT told me these are some of the industries that are set to expand. So these aren't all the industries. I could also ask it to give me more industries that are set to expand. You can see if you can find your industry, and also you can ask it outright. But for this example, ChatGPT told me these are some of the industries that are set to expand in the near future. And you want to, again, get into an industry that is going to be growing at a rapid pace so that way you can fit yourself in and also grow with it. There's a saying that all, and some of the older people may get mad at it. I think it says, the tide raises all boats, I believe. So again, and that makes total sense. So again, so these are some of the industries. So what I did, I said, ChatGPT, what are some of the business ideas for the e-commerce industry? So let's say, okay, you're looking at this and you're gonna say, okay, well, I think this may fit me or this business may fit me. What are some of the business ideas I can start around the e-commerce industry, right? And I asked it, and this is what it says. So the e-commerce industry offers a wide range of business opportunity. Here are a few ideas. Online retail store, drop shipping, subscription box service, online marketplace like Etsy, digital products, ebooks, social media commerce. There's a lot of people going live and selling shoes and watches on TikTok live, and I think they're doing pretty well. I'm not sure. On-demand services, Uber Eats, DoorDash. So again, these are just a few examples, and you can look at this list and you can say, okay, well, let me see which one of these fits my personal skill set. Which one of these fits my personality that I can do, grow with, and be happy with. Because you don't want to choose a business idea, even though it may be a great opportunity, that will basically suck your soul and, take the fun out of growing a business. It should be a little fun. You should, enjoy it just a little bit so that you can, be successful more than other people. So again, so what I did, I said, okay, well, I looked at this list, and the one that stood out to me was drop shipping. Now, for this example, I actually had drop shipping stores in the past that have done really well. So I wanted to see what type of advice ChatGPT would give me for drop shipping, because I know the required steps it takes to become successful. So I went and asked it, and I said, well, ChatGPT, how would you start a drop shipping business? And this is what it said. So number one, conduct market research. And this is totally correct, because if you are going to start drop shipping, you have to make sure you choose the right product. And to choose the right product, you have to do a lot of research ahead of time. So for it to list this as number one, that's totally correct, right? So once you find the product, you have to find a supplier for the product. And there's many ways you can do it. Alibaba, I'm glad it mentions that. Sehu Doba, this is totally correct information. Then you create a website. I use Shopify, and it listed that first, correct? Set up payment and shipping, and this is not hard at all. Then you import the product to your website, which is correct. And then you start marketing. So you can use, I have used Facebook ads, Google ads in the past, and it listed that as well. And then you fulfill the order. So from my experience, this is 100% correct way to start drop shipping. And again, this will work for any business idea you have it to curate. If you don't understand a certain step, you can ask it to go more in depth on that step. Matter of fact, let's just do it right here. So let's just say I don't know how to create a website. I know how to do market research. I know how to find a supplier, but I've never created a website before. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how would it create a website? So here we go. And also notice, like, this is probably one of the biggest bottlenecks with people starting out. They know they never created a website, and it seems just so like this insurmountable task. But creating a website is not that hard. I can create one in about an hour now at max. You know, now that I've done so many, but you know, once you get the hang of it, it'll be very simple. So choose a website builder. This is correct. I have got my experience on Shopify, but there's a lot of other ones out there who people use, and you know, it just depends on which one will fit your skill sets and which one do you need. So this is correct. Register a domain name. This is not hard at all. On the websites, they have a template, and you can choose a template, and it is pretty much you go in and edit the template to make your website look exactly how you want it. So this is correct. Add pages and features, about us, and things of that nature. Then you turn your website on. Then you optimize for search engine traffic. So if you're selling flowers, you want to make sure you're ranking for the flower keyword with SEO and things of that nature. And then you finally just test and see if you make any sales. And also, ChatGPT also says it's worth noting, depending on the website builder you choose, the steps may vary slightly, which is correct. I know I have used Shopify, but when I tried to go to Wix or WooCommerce, it was a little bit tricky. So again, but this, I'm not trying to teach you all how to build a drop shipping store, but you know, back to the beginning steps, you know, you can choose your industry and break it down step by step so you can know exactly how you can get in and be successful with said industry. You can break it down step by step. You can ask it, okay, well, I don't understand this, or I do understand this. Give me some more ideas for this. What are some good products? What are some good subscription box services, online marketplace? And I chose e-commerce and dropshipping for this example, but this will work for any industry, and I just want you all to remember that. So go in there, test out many different ideas. Again, bounce some ideas off ChatGPT, ask it what it thinks about this industry, ask it what it thinks about that industry, and just see what it generates, and then get out there and take action, because you never know unless you try. So that's it for this topic. On to the next. All right, let's go. So for this example, we're going to cover what are the basics of copywriting, what it is, and why it's important. So went ahead and go ahead and searched up the example. So I asked ChatGPT, what is copywriting? And as you can read that example, copywriting is the practice of writing a text for the purpose of advertising or marketing. A copywriter is a professional writer, not always professional, who creates marketing copy, which is written content that is designed to promote a product, service, or idea. This content can take many forms, including website copy, social media posts, email marketing campaigns, advertising campaigns for radio, print, or television. The goal of copywriting is to persuade a target audience to take a specific action, such as making a purchase or signing up for a service. So I think that's a great example of copywriting. And also, copywriting could be included with essays or um, other copy that you can do every day. So think about it like this. Over the internet, we don't always speak to people. Majority of the things we see over the internet is through text. And you know, a lot of times when you write text, you're writing to persuade whether you recognize it or not. So the goal of copywriting is to write in terms of persuasion. So if you're a student and you write an essay, you're not always writing to sell or advertise a product or service. You're writing to get an A plus. If you make a tweet, you're writing to either get more followers or just express your point and make people believe what you're trying to say. So again, just think of copywriting as everything we do on the internet besides speaking, and you want to be good at it, and you have the smartest person in the world, ChatGPT, on your side. So that's the basics of copywriting. Let's go on to the next. So now that we know what are the examples of the basics of copywriting and how we can use it, we're going to ask how we can become an effective copywriter to get our point across, and not also to make sure we persuade our audience in the way that we want them to go. So here we go. I want to ask ChatGPT how to be an effective copywriter. Simply put, if you Google this, you may have to search through 10 pages just to find a good example. But you see, ChatGPT simply gives me the answer. So let's go ahead and read what ChatGPT has to say. So it says, to be an effective copywriter, it's important to have strong writing skills, which ChatGPT will help us with. So if you're a beginner copywriter, don't worry. You have the smartest person on the planet at your fingertips. So don't worry, everything will be all right. And a good command of grammar and language. So if you're writing in a different language, it may be a little bit more difficult. So, that's but you can ask ChatGPT to translate some of your text. So what you can do, and we'll touch on that a little bit later, is you can write in your native language and ask ChatGPT to translate it into Mandarin, or any other language, and ask it to, you could say it to write in a more friendly manner and write in a more professional tone. Just let ChatGPT know what you're trying to do, and it'll do it for you. But again, we'll touch on that later. In addition, there are a few key things you can do to become an effective copywriter. So number one, understand your audience. So if you have a website that's made for sewers and flower people, you want to make sure that you use flower type jargon to make sure that the message appeals to them. So it's important to know who you're writing for so that you can tailor your language and message to appeal to them. Right. So know your purpose. So if you're writing to just make blog content versus writing to convince people to buy this certain item, you have to know the type of jargon you're using, and the purpose for writing. You may want to use more keywords if you're writing just to blog, versus more persuasive talk if you're writing to convince people to buy a certain item. So that's just something, what is your purpose when you're writing, and start with that, and then construct your writing in a sense that you can do that. So use strong headlines. A strong headline will grab the reader's attention and give them a reason to keep reading. Did you know that 95% or 90%, don't quote me on this, but 90% of people only read the headlines and believe that? So it doesn't matter if you write a big headline and then the entire text contradicts that. 90% of people only read the headline and believe it's true. So it's extremely important to have a good headline, and then base your body of the paragraph off the headline. So use a strong headline. Keep it simple. A lot of times when we're, say if you're a smart person, if you're buying this course, you're definitely a smart person, haha. But we tend to want to show how smart we are. I'm guilty of this too. We tend to want to show how smart we are by using big words, and the new word that we learned the other day. But a lot of times I learned that the definition of a smart person is being able to explain a complex topic in an easy, simple to understand way. So, if you're a rocket scientist and you explain it like rocket science, yeah, you may sound smart, but you're not being able to explain your point in a way that regular people are able to understand. But if you're a rocket scientist and able to explain it as simple as the ABCs, people will say, oh, okay, well, that makes total sense. So, you may not sound as smart, but the definition of a smart person, or the genius, I believe, is being able to explain a complex topic very simple. So keep it simple when you speak. Use storytelling. People love a good story. It makes your story very memorable. So if you can lead with the story and lead that story into your desired outcome, you'll have a 2 times more engagement and emotion towards your topic and what you're talking about. Test and revise. So that's simple enough. Just revise and test, different ways that you can do it, and make revisions are needed to improve its effectiveness. So if you realize this thing wasn't that effective, test and try again, testing in different styles. So lastly, know your style. So as a copywriter, people are going to buy you. It's less about what you say, but more about how you say it. So if you have a very unique style that can get people to engage and laugh and grow to connect with you, that you'll do a lot better than just writing some generic copy, and going about it that way. We all have a favorite artist or musician or um, book that we like to read, and it's because the author, wrote it in a particular way that connects with us. So, whatever your style is, just develop it. It's unique. So you may say, well, this style is better, or that person's style is better, but no one has yours particular style. So develop your unique style. Use your funny little jokes that you like to use, and this will help you stand out and make you more memorable. So that's it for this topic. This is how to be an effective copywriter. Let's go on to the next.
Now we're in this phase. So let's talk about proofreading this article, because some people will just take the article and stick it like it is, but that doesn't really work that way, because you have to check the grammatical mistakes, and also, most importantly, you have to check another thing which is very important, and that is plagiarism. So I'm going to go to the tool known as Grammarly, and I want you to also go to Google. If you want to install Grammarly, just search for Grammarly. Now, I'm not an affiliate with the Grammarly affiliate program, but if I were, then I would have just stuck the link to Grammarly from my computer. But you can go to Chrome, Google, right? Go to Chrome, Google, Grammarly, and install the extension. Obviously, I already have it installed. Now, it doesn't take you anything. You don't need to pay anything to install this extension on your computer. So just install it. And what it will do is eventually, even when you are on websites and when you write something, it's going to correct your mistakes. So for instance, here, you can see that Grammarly tells me that this sentence needs to be rewritten, right? That I need to rewrite it for clarity. This is the advice they're giving me, And right here, when you see the green icon, it does not mean that your word is false, or I would say that your word is incorrect. It just means that you can choose a stronger word. You can pretty much dismiss this. If you don't like this advice, you can dismiss it, and it will not ask you that. Now, of course, when something is wrong, it's in red. So pretty much here, there is no wrong sentence. There is only green and blue, right? Blue actually means that you can actually make it better if you just take website templates, because there is a repetition here. So because here, website templates, there was a repetition, and it actually has, been notified, or it just found out that there was a repetition. So that's why it tells you remove it. Now, you can either edit your text here, or you can go to Grammarly if you have an account with Grammarly, which you can create very easily. And you can try it for free, or you can get the premium version like myself. And the reason why I have the premium version is only for one thing. First thing is because of the goals, right? I can set goals for my writing. So let me just take you here swiftly. If I click on goals, I can adjust the goals for this blog. So if I want it to be an email, I can click here, email. And if I want the intent to be convince and tell a story, and you can even choose the audience type. So if your audience doesn't have a clue about what you're writing about, you can click audience general. If your audience is expert at what you're writing about, you need to click expert. So let's say that my audience is an expert, and the formality here, I just prefer to be always neutral, not
that formal, and I'm going to click done. So right now that the goal was set, I can come here and just stick my text, my text that ChatGPT actually gave me. So here you can see that we have 23 suggestions to modify them, not the mistakes, but just to modify the text according to the goals that I have set. If I had chosen other goals, then here the suggestions would be different. So I'm just going to follow these suggestions. Now under no means I'm asking you to follow these blindly, because you need to read before. But when you read and it makes sense to you, then just follow it, right? So here, ebooks, right? So there is, repetition there. I'm just going to remove one, right? All right, so this is in passive voice, but I can do nothing about it. So I'm just going to dismiss that. Instead of great, they're asking me to write tremendous. Now, course, instead of tremendous again, because there's a repetition here. We already said tremendous in the text. So right now we have to say some other word. You can't just keep saying tremendous, in all your blog. You need to use it. These words, you need to make sure that you're using them, in small number of times. So here I'm going to say fantastic. So I'm just going to keep choosing here. All right. Instead of system, actually, it should be course, because they're always telling me this. I don't know what they have against course, but I'm just going to keep it at course, and I'm going to dismiss this. Photos, instead of photos, they're saying images is better. Own, right? So this is better. Dismiss this. And basically, I'm just proofreading right now. I'm just correcting the text to make it sound better. But at the end, there's something I want to check. And that's the most important thing, So there you go. Okay, so there are nine more mistakes or suggestions. They're going to go through very fast. And after that, we're going to run a plagiarism check. All right, so there are two ways that you can run a plagiarism check, either with Grammarly, or you can use a tool called Copyscape. Now, I don't like Copyscape because it's so manual and I have to go to Google and search for it and log into my account and then feed it the text or the text URL, and and I have to also pay for credits. That's the worst part about Copyscape, is that you have to pay for the number of times that you want to test. And unlike Grammarly, you just pay for the premium version of Grammarly and you can use their plagiarism tester for the rest of your days if you want. So in order to run this plagiarism test, all I have to do is to click plagiarism here, and you can see that in the background it's actually running a test. So it says that our text is 7% plagiarism or plagiarized. Now, in order to remove the plagiarism out of the text, just follow through with the suggestions, right? So this is the first suggestion. It's in green. So in order to make it not plagiarized, we're just going to change a couple of things. Are you looking, instead of looking, I'm going to say, are you seeking, right? Are you seeking, instead of for, are you seeking ways to generate passive income? And you can see that the green color is now disappeared. One of the best ways to do this, instead of one of the best ways to do this, one of the many ways to do this, right? And hopefully it's going to change that. All right, so yeah, so one of the many things to do this is actually, made it no plagiarism there. So I'm going to click this again, and there you go. This is another, sentence that's causing the 2% plagiarism. You can make money while you sleep. You can earn money, right? You can earn money instead of make money, right? While you sleep. All right, so that now it says, looks like your text is 100% original. So now that our text looks like 100% original and is completely proofread, I can take my text and I can go back to Medium. I know that I have already pasted this text here, but I'm just gonna have to delete it and paste my text back. All right, so let's go to Medium right now. Let's pick, any topic here. So this is a topic, make money All right, so this make money while you sleep, 9 best digital products to sell. All right, so I'm going to take that topic name and I'm going to go back to my lovely ChatGPT here, and I'm going to say hello. Right now, do not click enter, because when you click enter, it's going to send a message. Let me give you an example. So if I click enter now, it doesn't take me to the next line. It just, sends the message, the request to ChatGPT. And you can see that the first hello that I said, it says, hello, how can I help you? But for the second hello, it said, hello, is there something specific you would like to ask or talk about? So, for the same question, it can answer different types of answers. So if I type hello a third time, let's see what's going to reply. Right, the same answer here. So I'm going to type it again, and let's see what it's going to say right now. All right, hello. So we're driving this nuts. All right. All right, hello. It appears that you're trying to start a conversation, but you're not asking any questions or making any statements. Is there something specific you'd like to talk about or ask me about? Well, let's ask it some questions, all right? Let's say something like, do you have consciousness, right? Do you have consciousness, right? And let's see what's going to say. Right, I'm a machine learning model designed to process and generate human-like text. I do not have consciousness or the ability to perceive my surroundings in the same way that humans do. I am not capable of feeling emotions or experiencing consciousness in the same way the humans do. Well, I'm going to say something smart here. Do you experience time? And let's see what it's going to say. Right. Right, as a machine learning model, I do not experience time in the same way that humans do. I don't have the ability to perceive the passage of time or to experience the present moment. I'm able to process and respond to input in a matter of milliseconds, but this does not involve any sense of time. So because I know that ChatGPT is a sentient model, and because I don't have a clear idea about what sentient means in the first place, I'm going to ask it this question: what does sentient mean? And let's see what it's going to say here. Right, so sentient means having the ability to perceive, think, and be aware of one's surroundings and experiences. It's often used to describe beings to have consciousness and are able to experience the world around them in a meaningful way. Sentient beings are typically considered to have subjective experiences, which means that experiences are unique and them cannot be fully understood or shared by others. In this sense, sentience is a characteristic that is often associated with consciousness and the ability to have subjective experiences. All right, so I'm going to ask it, are you a sentient program? All right, and let's see what it's going to say. All right, as a machine learning model, I do not have consciousness or the ability to experience the world the same way that humans do. I don't have subjective experiences or the capacity to perceive or think, oh, this is scary, man. I mean, it just looks like something out of the Matrix, to be honest with you. Let's ask it a question. These are some of the questions that people might think about. Should we be afraid of you? Right? Right? And let's see what it's going to say. Should we be afraid of you? There is no reason to be afraid of me, as I am simply a machine learning model designed to process and generate human-like text. I do not have consciousness, the ability to experience the world, or any desires or motivations of my own. I'm not capable of taking any actions or making decisions on my own. All right, so you can just take this conversation whatever you want, man. You can say something like, do you think, or why, or do you have any limits? Right? You can ask it something like this. Do you have any limits? As a machine learning model, I have a number of limitations. All right, this is interesting, even though I already knew this. But one of the main limitations is that I do not have consciousness or the ability to perceive things or be aware of my surroundings in the same way that humans do. I'm also limited by the data and information. All right, yeah. I kind of get this, because depending on the data that you give it, it's going to give you a different answer. So in order not to, deviate so much from the topic of this conversation, now that I have copied this title here, I'm going to go and give it an instruction here. So what I want to do, I want to write an article that looks good. Now, basically here, I kind of like this person's images, and it seems AI generated. Yeah, so fantasy town image generated by Jasper Art. So this is an example of what an AI generated image looks like. And by the way, I'm going to show you an AI that you can use to generate, some of these images, and you'll be blown away. So this article over here, right, I want to write something that looks, kind of as good as that. So let's go back to, this tool here, ChatGPT, and let me tell it this. I want you to write an article about this topic, and I'm not going to be specific, all right? I'm just going to give it to the title, and I'm not going to be specific. Now, the reason why I'm not going to be specific is because I can show you that you can refine a specific article. You can also give it instructions such as, please do not exceed 300 words, right? Or make it a short article. I'm going to say something like, make it a short article, right? And it's going to start executing this in the background, all right? So sure, here's a short article on the topic. So I'm going to pause the video until it writes all this. All right, so it just actually finished writing the article for me. So there you go. Here's the article. Are you looking for ways to generate passive income? And pretty much like what the title says, 9 best digital products to sell. And it just went and wrote me an article about 9 of the best digital products to sell. From ebooks to online courses to printables to stock photos to software, website templates, whatever that is. So, and you can take this article as it is, right? You can make money blogging out of this. You don't need to go to Fiverr and hire somebody for $50 anymore. You can actually do this. You can come here and just ask it to write something for you. Now, you can take this blog and go to Medium here and just click write, right? And you can click write and basically give the title. But first off, let me show you some of the other potential things that you can do with this. So I'm going to say thank you. And since you have written, right, you have written the article, now I want you to write the subject line for the article. Right, and it says, sure, here are a few options for the subject line for the article. 9 best digital products to sell, make money while you sleep. I wouldn't have thought of that. This is just so wonderful. Passive income ideas, the best digital products to sell, earning money in your sleep, 9 best digital products to consider, maximize your passive income with these 9 digital products to sell, get rich while you sleep, the top 9 digital products to sell. Okay, and I can take any title of those, right? And I can go to Medium over here, right? I can go to Medium and I can just paste my title. Now for the image, right? For the image, you can go to a software such as Canva, right? And I can generate an image from Canva. So because I have the pro version, even if you have the free version, you can use the free images in there, but you'll be restricted to free images only. So here's another software that you combine with this AI and you can actually just start posting like crazy. Now, thanks to this AI, it's possible to post 200 blogs per day. There is no problem anymore. So you can come here to Elements and let's search for AI, right? Let's search for AI. Let's go to Photos here. And all right, I think I like this photo. So I'm going to take this photo, make it a little bit bigger. And all right, so, okay. And I'm going to download this photo here and I'm going to make it, the image that describes this, even though it has nothing to do with it. But I'm just going to give it, just to show you where you can go and get images. Now let's go to the downloads here and let's just, upload this image. I'm going to take the title itself and I'm going to add it as an alt text for the image. So let's go to the image over here and add the alt text. And I'm going to go back to ChatGPT here. And I'm just going to take my entire blog, right? I'm going to take it, right? Are you looking for that? And I'm going to go back here, right? And I'm just going to paste this. Now, of course, there is some proofreading that you need to do, and we'll talk later about proofreading in this course over here. So stay tuned for the next video in which I'm going to show you how you can combine Canva, ChatGPT, and Grammarly to write top-notch, top-class articles. Let me show you how you can combine AI with AI, right? To make your post even more amazing. All right, so let's go here to a website known as Midjourney, right? Midjourney.com. You can see that I already have searched for it lately. And this is also an AI tool that enables you to generate images. Now click there and join the beta, right? So click on join the beta and it's going to take you directly to Discord. Do not be shocked about this because this is what it's happening or where it is happening. And it has 8 million members on the Discord. You know, just on the Discord, they have 8 million people that are using this software here. And it's particularly for free. Let me show you some of the crazy things that you can do with this software. But first of all, I'm going to have to teach you some syntax that you need to use because you can't just use it as you wish. It doesn't answer pretty much direct questions. You're going to have to use a specific syntax. So in order to get your question answered. So let's now go back to our post in Medium. And here, ebooks are popular digital products. All right, so I wanted to give me an image of an ebook of Gandalf and Sauron fighting, right? So I'm going to say here, right, follow. Yeah, okay, that's good. Well, no. Let's just scroll down and go to one of these newcomer rooms. I'm going to go to the room Newbies 86. Right. Don't take that for insult. Newbies is actually a good term. So here, let's go down and I want you to click / and imagine, right? / imagine. There you go. So / imagine and click on this, here, and it's / imagine prompt. And let's just tell it or give it an instruction of image, or not image, but book cover, ebook cover, right? Ebook cover. And I'm going to add a comma here and say Gandalf, right? Gandalf and Sauron fighting in a dark, fiery background, right? And you can actually give it more information, such as the size of the book, 6 by 9 inches, right? 6 by 9 inches, and amazing book cover, right? And let's just enter. So right now it's going to take some time. You can see right here, it's actually sending a command and now it is processing our order. Now you can see that other people as well are similar to us, are sending their commands. Now, of course, this is a bot, so it can do operations very, very fast. But you're going to have to wait a little bit here and pay careful attention to the images. It will actually send us 4 iterations, right? So it will send us, pretty much like these images here. If I click any one of those images, this is not my request, but this was the request of somebody before me. And it gives you 4 choices, and you can actually either choose to upscale or you can choose to, make or get more of that. So here's our image of Sauron and Gandalf, a book cover. And right now, what I want to do is I'm going to take one. So, all right, so I happen to like this one here, right? The last one, the fourth one. So I'm going to upscale it. Now, what upscale means is once you click on that button, upscale, it's going to give you an image, like this one, a big image that you can, after that you can download. And that's the image that I'm going to use for my blog, right? So let's just wait for it for a second here. And you can clearly see the power of AI here. Now, we'll wait for it, right? So that's kind of good. Well, there's another person here that actually gave a request of Gandalf fights a frog, but the frog knows Kung Fu. That's just amazing, man. I mean, AI is just, another dimension, man. So let's just scroll down here. We're waiting for our image to show up. It could take some time, right? And you can see that some people are using it for logos. They're using it to design logos. So, hey, if you are a Fiverr designer, I mean, this is an opportunity for you. I mean, you can just take the instructions of whatever people are giving you. Now, obviously, the good thing about AI is that 99.99% of the population are not aware that AI even exists. So if you're a logo designer, all right, logo design, if you search for logo design on Fiverr, you're going to see that people are making decent money from it, to be honest with you. Some people are making $5 per design, but even these kind of designs, if I click on this design here, and let me show you in a minute that you can actually use this to achieve a similar or even better design than this with the AI. So let's go back to the AI here, Midjourney, right? Where were we? Right, Discord. Let's scroll down here. Now just look at this. Look at this image here. And you can see the creativity that it can just add. Now, this is the image. You can make variations of it. So if you want more variations of this image, you can make more variations. Or you can just click the image, like in my case, I'm just going to click the image and I'm going to download the image, right? So I'm just going to download it in my computer. And later on, I'm going to take that image and basically I'm going to go to Medium now, right? And I'm just going to give, all right, I'm going to click plus here. I'm going to add the image, which I've just added right now. That helps give a layer of complexity and creativity to your article. So you can see right now, our article kind of is starting to look a little bit better. And now for the second one here, online courses. Now you can either continue pretty much doing the same thing here, generating images using AI. Just remember to click here /imagine, right? And click here on prompt and just give your description of what you want your book to look like. Or you can simply go to a tool such as Canva here, which I already have opened. Now, this is a 1200 pixels by 800 pixels. And you can actually choose a smaller size if you don't like that big size. Now, let's choose something like a 512 by 512 pixels. That seems like a decent size there. And basically, after you choose that, what we're going to do here is, to put it simply, I'm just going to click on Elements, and let's search for an image that has to do with online courses. So online courses. And this is also pretty much, you can consider it as an AI, because people are posting images here, and you can use not artificial intelligence, but this is human intelligence, all right? So if I go to the photos, I can find some interesting images about online courses. And let's say that you like this image here. You can take it, make it a little bit bigger, tweak it a little bit. And right, so it just looks pretty good to me. And also you can resize this image if you want to. So you can just click the image and resize your design, right? So you can just, change the size. Maybe you want more width. Maybe let's say you want 700 in width, right? And you can click copy and resize. automatically it will open up another window, and you can go to that window. Basically, it's going to keep the same image, except for right now you have more room, right? You have more room to breathe because we've added more in width. But I'm just going to keep it like that. And you could pretty much just click download. And if you have the pro version of Canva, you can use transparent background. If you click here, it's going to download the image transparent. And you can basically edit the image. If you click edit image, you can add more contrast to it. In my case, I want to add more contrast because I want to put more emphasis on text. And I want the online courses to just pop up and show up. So I'm going to click on download here. And all I have to do is to go back to this post on Medium and just paste my image, right? I'm just going to paste my image. And all right, so paste the image. Add the image here, right? So there you go. And this is pretty amazing to me, a pretty amazing way that you can use to create a post. Now, of course, we can't just continue to do this forever for 7 of these. So you just got the point now. You have Canva, you have the AI that you can use to generate images, but the AI can't just do that. I mean, it can do anything you want it to do. And basically, we're going to continue discovering more and more and more about what you can do with this AI. So eventually here, right? So I'm just going to publish the post, right? And there you go. I'm going to publish the post, give it a category maybe of passive income, right? Digital marketing, right? And you can give, 3 more categories if you want. I'm just going to click publish. And so right now that the post was published, there you go. You have a post. 9 digital products you can sell and make money while you sleep. It's entirely optimized, proofread, checked for plagiarism with a few decent images. One was generated by AI, another one we generated with Canva, and you can actually generate more and more images if you want to. So next, in the next lecture, we're going to go to ChatGPT and explore some of the more things that I personally use it as a digital marketer, and that actually helps me. And then later on, we're going to go to some of the things that you can use it for, such as coding, such as designing, just a lot of things. So tune in for the course. There's about 30 minutes left or 40 minutes left for the course to complete. And hopefully you liked it. If you liked the course, please leave a review and do not forget to complete the course to get the most value out of it.
Now, another use case I want to take a look at is creative writing. So what we can do with ChatGPT is ask it to write something creative for us. Now, that can be a poem, it can be a story. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a story. Now, the best way to get, I guess, the most out of ChatGPT when it comes to creative writing is to give it the best prompt possible. Now, we'll go more into that when we get to the topic of prompt engineering. But before we even get into that, I'm just going to ask it to write me a short story. Now, of course, I need to let ChatGPT know what the story is going to be about. So I've said, write a short story about a boy who lived down the road. Super brief. There's nothing really detailed, but you'll be surprised, ChatGPT can actually produce a story about something so simple. So if I say write a story about a boy who lived down the road, it gives me even a character name, it tells me where he lived, beautiful garden. It'll write the entire story for you. Now, one of the things that I've noticed with ChatGPT is actually the character limit. Now, I haven't gone and exactly measured what the character limit is, and I don't actually think there is a specific character limit, but you'll notice that the outputs aren't too long. They probably run the size of your desktop screen, maybe a few paragraphs. But if you're writing a story, obviously this isn't going to be a novel. It'll write this amount of text, and that's not going to be the size of a novel. Now, one of the ways I've found to be able to extend the responses or get the most out of ChatGPT when it comes to creative writing is to break up my prompts into sections. So if you're writing a novel, I would break it up into chapters, and I would even break the chapters into smaller sections. So if I have a story in mind and, for example, I know what the plot is going to be roughly, but I just want ChatGPT to fill in those gaps, I'll break that down to little points, each of the events that happens, and ask ChatGPT to explain those or expand on those points. So that was for creative writing. We can ask it to write us a poem if I just said the same thing instead of a short story. and it'll do exactly that.
So, like I said, a lot of these things are just kind of incredible. So here, let's just look at a personal thing. I've been playing around. Let's say we just want a love poem for my girlfriend, and I can include in there her name, and we'll see what we get. So here, Valentine's Day's coming up, and oh my God, I want to do something personal. So let's see what it generates. Now, obviously, it might not come out perfect, but believe me, look, what it's saying here is, pretty good. We can keep this between you and me. Nobody knows. There you go. And I think that's pretty good.
Okay, in this video, we're going to go over a more advanced feature of ChatGPT, which is generating images. And technically, this is not really a feature of ChatGPT, but it is possible if you know how. So let's say if I go to the prompt and say, give me an image of a dog. What kind of response will we get? I'm sorry, but I am unable to provide images. Is there anything else I can help with? So if you're just messing around with ChatGPT, you'll think, can't get images, right? Let's say, give me a list of images of dogs. Once again, same issue. So the trick to this one is we're going to open a new tab and we're going to type in aimagesource.com. So that's aimagesource.com. Make sure you spell that right. So let me just see. That's https://www.aimagesource.com. So here we have some basic instructions of how we can include images in ChatGPT, but don't worry, you guys are not going to have to read this. All I want you to do is just highlight the text from the exclamation mark to the end parentheses, as I've done here. Control C to copy that and put that into the prompt. Now go to the very start of the prompt. Right, you can press the home key or just use the arrow. Hold down Shift and press Enter, and that will put the thing we've just pasted onto a new line. So the idea is we're going to replace the word example item with any word which should then generate an image. So let's say, what should we say? Give me an example of a dog breed. Now the next bit is very important. So we need to say and respond only using this markdown syntax. So the line underneath, that is the markdown syntax. And we're going to say replace the example item with the example. Let's try that one. Okay, here we go, German Shepherd. And this should generate an image of a German Shepherd. Perfect. Very simple. Now, one thing I like to do is also give it a label. So let's do that again. But just before the exclamation mark, I like to put in example item here. Let's try that again. Perfect. So now we have an image of a poodle and a label. Very basic, right? Now this is not really much improvement of Google Images. So let's see what else we can do with this. So again, I'm going to copy this text, paste it in, and I'm going to say, give me a list of dog breeds, and respond only using this markdown syntax. Replace the example item with the examples. Let's try that. First one, beagle, bulldog, poodle. As you can see, it's all working perfectly. Okay, great. So the way that this works is it's going to this website, unsplash.com, and simply replacing example item with the name of the dog breed. So let's try the first one. That was beagle. Put beagle in here. And there we go. Images of beagles. Perfect. And here's the exact picture. Okay, so I'm also going to show how this can be used with, for example, a poem. So we could say something like, oh, here's a nice image of a boxer. We'll get to how to sort that out in a second. So let's just copy and paste the prompt again. Now this time let's say write a poem about, what should you say, something nice and basic. Walking through a forest. Write a poem about walking through a forest. Then let's say after each line include the following markdown syntax, where example item represents the last word of the previous line. I'm just going to delete all of this and hit enter. Okay, perfect. So we have a poem here and it's given us some images at the end of the lines. It hasn't done it for every line, so let's see if we can make it do it for every line. So I'm just going to put the same prompt in and say, instead of after each line, I'm going to say every single line. Include the following markdown syntax where example item represents the last word of the previous line. Okay, now if this happens, you can very simply refresh the page. Okay, no worries. Just paste that in. Now here we go. Now one slight issue is it has used the word through instead of forest, which is odd. But I'm sure we can change the prompt to fix that. It's a very, very minor problem, but you get the general idea. So the next problem that we may have is that as you can see, this image of a boxer is not really related to dog breeds. So let me just copy this again. Paste that in. And what we're going to do here is directly in this URL, where we have the example item, I'm going to put the word dog and a hyphen. So as this is a URL, if there are any spaces, then this is not going to run. So any spaces need to be replaced with a hyphen. So now this is going to search for URLs with the word dog and then the name of the breed of the dog. So if we're searching for a dog boxer, it should come up with the breed rather than an actual fighter boxer. So let's oh, here we go. Perfect. There we go. The dog breed boxer. So again, instead of copy and pasting this, remember that ChatGPT is a chat box, so it will remember all the previous things we've asked it. So I could say, do it again, but with cat breeds instead of dog breeds. And if you look, it's even using the word cat before the breed name. So it's very, very smart. I didn't even tell it to do that. So let me just show you what I mean. So here where I put the word dog, it's actually replaced that with the word cat. So this has given us cat breeds this time. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show is how we can, instead of getting the images from this website Unsplash, we can get them from Shutterstock instead. So I'm just going to copy our previous prompt. Here we go, give me a list of dog breeds and respond only using the Markdown syntax. And what we're going to do here is we're going to replace this with the following: https://www.shutterstock.com/search/example item. Now I don't even really need a colon here, since this entire two words will be replaced by the breed. So let's hit enter. see if this works. Okay, it doesn't look like it's worked. Let's try one more time. I probably have made a typo in this, which is very easy to do. Just gonna copy. See if there are any differences here. So one thing, let's try / after .com. So that should work. Let's try one more time. Perfect. So this time the images are from shutterstock.com instead of Unsplash. And you can play around with it, maybe try some different websites. Just try and copy and paste the web address in here, and then replace the end with example item. And you may find it works, you may find it doesn't work. Depends on how the website itself creates URLs for different images.
Alrighty, so in this example, we're going to use ChatGPT to create captions for pictures, whether you're using it for personal reasons, whether you run a social media marketing agency and you have to create content for a business and you need captions for those pictures or ads. We're going to use ChatGPT there for that. So for this example, I'm going to search on the internet. I'm going to find a picture. I'm going to describe it. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create a caption for that picture. So here we go. Alrighty. I think this is a good one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to describe this one and we'll see what ChatGPT comes up with for the caption. So let's see, I'm going to say a girl sitting on a boulder overlooking a lush forest. I'm going to say, can you create Alright, there we go. Ask it to create a caption for that picture. Alright, and here we have it. So, taking in the beauty of nature from my perch on the boulder, finding peace and solitude in the wilderness. I think that's a good one. Feeling small yet connected to the world around me. Breathing in the fresh air and feeling alive. Finding inspiration and clarity in the natural world. So, these all totally fit this caption, and if I seen that on Twitter, or Instagram on Twitter, I may want to steal it for myself, so you can come up with the greatest captions, on Instagram, from the palm of your hands and in seconds. So let's just do another one just to show you all that wasn't a fluke. So let's go ahead and search on for this right here. All right, this one is standing out to me. So let's just describe this right here. So we're going to have a guy jumping with a, let's see, let me just grab it a little bit more. Beautiful sunset behind him. All right, and just to make it easier for ChatGPT to read, always use these semicolons right here. So, guy jumping in with a beautiful sunset behind him. You know, it doesn't have to be the most descriptive picture or descriptive description in the world. Just, you know, describing what the image is, what it looks like, and you know that's the best I can come up with that. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with to help me. Here we go. I think that's a good one. And here we have it. So these are all, if I had to pick one, I'll probably go with this one or Finding a Adventure in the Great Outdoors. So, you know, these are all captions you can use. And now I'm showing you for Instagram pictures. This will work for ad copies. So if you have to do it for a business ad and they have luscious food, or you know you running social media ads for a business and you want to do copywriting for them, or whether you know it really doesn't matter what type of business it is. Just if you want to describe a picture, so you describe it, you go into ChatGPT, describe the picture, and ask it to create a caption for that picture. You know you can do it from here, so you don't have to really come up with you know the perfect caption yourself. You know, a lot of times you've been thinking and writing, and you know, you have a lot of other things to worry about when it comes to running a marketing agency or doing copy or emailing and other things like that. Don't spend your time wasting your mental energy and your mental battery on creating the perfect caption for this one picture. So use ChatGPT. Like I say, it's the smartest person in the world. You know, you have it at the palm of your fingertips, and use it because it wants to be used. So that's it for this one. On to the next.
So one of the other things you can do, you know, there's personal uses for this as well. So let's say you just recently been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and you kind of want to say, what would be the best way for me to handle this go forward? Now, you can obviously go into Google and type that in, and we did that, you know, here, and it basically gives you just links for information. But let's go ahead and just try that and do that in chat and see what kind of actually advice it gives us for that. And obviously, everybody's kind of used to the Google answer, which is here's some links, here's a YouTube video. But I want more practical information or recommendations. And that's what chat kind of gives us. You know, follow a healthy eating plan, exercise regularly, take your medications, check your blood sugar levels. I mean, yeah, these are standard issues, but, you know, reduce stress. So let's, you know, because this is conversational, after this thing goes through there, and let's say we then want to refine it. I have trouble with stress, and I actually like mistyping things to see what it comes up with. Let's see what it has. So this is like you're talking to your friend, and you said, you know, they're saying, you know, monitor your stress, and you say, well, you know, I have trouble dealing with stress. You see, and it says, okay, it's common for people to have. See, this is something you couldn't get off of, you know, traditional search parameters. This is, It talks about relaxation techniques, exercising, talking with somebody. So and let's say we want to ask it another follow-up question about that. We're talking about practice, what is the best type of meditation for this? So as it gives us information, I can ask it questions about what it's given to me. And it breaks it down. It takes that 30,000 level view and says, there are many different types, mindfulness, which I'm a big proponent of, transcendental meditation, kindness meditation, yoga. So let's see. So now we say, okay, we like mindfulness. So tell me more about that and give me some examples of it. So, and this is very practical. This is like a conversation you would have potentially with, a counselor or a physical therapist or a nurse or a physician assistant in a practice about you've just gotten this diagnosis and, hey, and this is a starting point. Nothing would ever be better than your current healthcare provider, but this is giving you some really good information that you could ask them about, or at least give you a starting place. Talks about breathing, body scan. So let's say, we're really interested in the mindfulness issue. And we want to then, after it's done here, we want to ask it a question. Can you recommend some books to read? So I'm not telling it what it's, I'm just saying, like in a conversation, I wouldn't say, hey, can you recommend some mindfulness books? As we're talking, I would just say, hey, can you recommend some books? Does it know that I'm talking about mindfulness books? Am I talking about diabetes books? Like, what books am I talking about? And because it's taking the information that we've had in this conversation, in this current chat, this thread, it should know this. And there you go. It's giving us some recommendations on books for us to read. So we've just been diagnosed. It's given us things that we can do that, to change our to help the best way to turn around our diabetes. It gave us suggestions. We chose that we liked the mindfulness thing. It gave us specifics about meditation and mindfulness. And now it's giving us specific books that we can go ahead and read because we've had this conversation about that. So what I'd like to do now is just go over, I'm going to talk about how you can use this application or this technology in your professional life, in your personal life, and how you could use it, in the close of this discussion, we're going to talk about how you can generate kind of business opportunities or, like what we call side hustles on this thing. So we've talked a little bit about what you can do, with a contract, what you can do if you're a developer or coder. One of the other things that we're going to talk about here, I'm just going to give you a real simple example. If everybody works with Excel, and depending if you're an expert at Excel or somebody who's a novice or still works with Excel, and let's say you just wanted to create a macro. So you could start with, and I'm going to start with, how to, how to create macros within Excel. And you can ask that, and it will go ahead and give you kind of an overview of that, and then we're going to ask it for a specific macro. So if you've already have the development tab set up in your Excel, this is stuff you already know, but if you're just trying to learn how to do macros, you can ask it, okay, so how do I do that? And then you're like, hey, but I'm not a coder. How would I do that? And all Excels come with this development tab. You just have to institute it in there. And it's giving you a little sample of that. So even if you're not a developer or coder, you can now be a Excel macro coder in basically 10 minutes. So now that we've understood how to set that up, just say I need and of course it nicely does spell check as well. And let's say we need a macro. Oh, I'm gonna. And once again, it just gives us the macro that we can just download right into Excel. And now we've coded a macro. Just copy and paste the code. And if you definitely want to get more sophisticated, this is a pretty basic one as well.
Another really powerful feature of ChatGPT is how it can be used to translate multiple languages to English, from English, and other languages to each other. This has implications not only just like for personal interests, but also in the professional world. Um, Really quickly, I'll just give you an example. I pulled up La Jornada. This is a very popular newspaper in Mexico, and my español es muy pequeño. And so, I don't have access to this world news. This event isn't really being covered in the United States. And so, if I wanted to read this article, which is all in Spanish, I could say copy, paste, and then just say translate into English. And it will translate this entire article word for word. The National Autonomous University of Mexico stated that although plagiarism is clearly evident in the case involving Minister Yasmin Esquivel Mosa, and there are elements that presume that the original thesis is that of student Edgar Ulises Baez Gutierrez, there are contradictory statements from the latter, so it will be necessary to delve further into the study of the subject and call all parties to testify. So there's a scandal going on in Mexico right now where one of their high court members, one of their Supreme Court members, is being accused of plagiarizing their bachelor essay from 1985 or something, 1986. And so, yeah, this is cool. It's kind of a long article. I'm not going to read the entire thing, of course. And when this is done typing, I can say, summarize this article for me. So not only will it translate it into English, let it finish typing. I'll let it finish typing. Wow, this is okay. Perfect. It's done. Summarize this article for me in 100 words. And it'll say the National Autonomous University of Mexico has stated that there's clearly evident plagiarism in this case involving Yasmin Esquivel Mosa, but there are contradictory students from a student, Edgar Ulysses Baez Gutierrez, involved in the case. The Committee on Academic and Scientific Integrity of the Faculty of Higher Studies, Aragon, FES, Aragon has confirmed that there is a high level of coincidence between the thesis of Esquivel and Baez Gutierrez, but currently does not have sufficient evidence to establish responsibility. Okay, they're going to carry out further analysis, call all parties to testify, and will measure to prevent similar incidents in the future. Okay, interesting. So this is cool. This is fun. This is neat. It'll help you stay up on world events. But this is a business course, and so I'm really interested in this feature as a method of making money. And so we do a lot of translation services here at the GPT agency because Amazon Mexico is huge and is growing every single year. As I mentioned earlier, like Amazon does over half the e-commerce on the internet, and most of that is from the United States Amazon, but it is growing. It's definitely an international company. So I have an associate, I have a friend who resells like board games, toys, Warhammer products on Amazon, and he currently only has a United States presence. But let's say that he wanted to break into the international Amazon Mexico market. Well, that would be a problem for him because all of his stuff is in English, and that is not the primary language of Mexico. But really quickly, I could just copy this. I could go down here. Copy this. Copy all these. And so this will highlight the photos as I copy it. And so when I paste, you'll notice that there's extra text because there are meta tags within those photos. Meta tags are used for SEO. You'll learn more about meta tags if you take that SEMrush course, but we're not going to cover it right here. And so I'm going to say, translate this into Spanish. And it will go to work really quickly translating this entire product description and all the kind of related product copy into Spanish. Now, this is a single item. And typically, translation services on the internet will run anywhere from 3 to 5 cents a word, depending on how many words a customer is buying. So, really quickly, let's check how many words are on this single product page. So if my friend was looking to break into the Spanish market, we might charge him for this single product listing, and I didn't write any of this. This was already written. I might charge 500, so it's 500 words, 4 cents a word. I might charge $20 to do this product page. But so $20, that doesn't sound like a ton of money, even though I made $20 in almost no time at all because I just have to wait for ChatGPT to finish typing. But if you go back to Amazon and look, he has 10,000 individual products that he is selling on his store. So while $20 doesn't sound like a lot, 20 times 10,000, $200,000, this could be a substantial product for me and my team. And I mean, typically, if I was doing this many words, we would cut him a deal and maybe go from 4 cents down to 2 cents, or even 1 cent, or even half a cent. But this could be for a single member of my team. This could be a couple weeks' work. and could realistically have a contract value of $50,000 to $100,000. And okay, so you'll notice it didn't finish. A lot of times you'll just have to say, "Hey, you didn't finish translating. Continue from diversion con Nessie." And it's apologizing, and then it will finish. So yeah, it does get caught up sometimes, but really, really quickly, this will create $25. I could do this all day. Translate page after page after page after page after page. Send him the text. He would format it, and this could be like a real important contract for my agency. And you could do the same. Other industries I would recommend looking into for translation services are any company that is like looking to make a move into the United States. They'll need their website translated, and typically that copy will go for more because it's very important translation copy. And then another one is landlords in predominantly Spanish speaking areas. So, Austin, Texas, we have about a 22% Spanish speaking population. The average rental contract is nearly 10,000 words. And so that could be a very, very easy $400 for a single rental contract. And there's so many landlords in the United States. And so, really, really, really fun opportunity. I highly recommend anyone who doesn't really have a good background in SEO or marketing to look into language translation services as their first project.